If you've been white-knuckling your way through adulting with ADHD, burnout, or just too many browser tabs open in your brain, I've got you. Let's hop on a free discovery call where we'll talk ADHD, purpose, and how to stop feeling like a walking to-do list. No weird sales pitches, just real talk. Fierce kindness. Book it now at youradhdguy.com. That's youradhdguy.com. Your future self will high five you for it. Yeah. Welcome to Don't Mind Me, I Just Have ADHD, the podcast where fierce kindness meets the unfiltered truth. A one-stop shop about all things ADHD, where we smash the stigma and mystery around ADHD, depression, and the masks we wear at work and in life. I'm Ron, your ADHD guy, your guide, and your reminder that being different isn't a flaw. It's a biological advantage, a signal that you were never meant to blend in. You were built to make a difference. Here, we face the struggles that no one seems to get with heart. We unpack the chaos. We build strength through our sensitivity. We turn pain into power. Because kindness isn't weak. It's a revolution. And every time you show up for yourself, that's you taking your life back. So let's make it cool to be different. Let's make it brave. Let's make it yours. Hey friends, welcome back to Don't Mind Me, I Just Have ADHD. This is part 6 in our series on ADHD and trauma. Thank you for sticking with me. And if you missed last week's episode, press pause and go listen to that first, where we talked about how ADHD was never just a brain disorder. It's a cultural story shaped by profit, shame, and a pharmaceutical machine that's quietly profiting off all our pain. We talked about the selling of ADHD, how the diagnoses exploded alongside a $10 billion industry. And we shared real stories like the late Dr. Keith Connors, a pioneer in ADHD research, calling it what it is, a concoction to justify giving out medication at unjustifiable levels. And I even brought in my own mother to share some profound stories of her own struggles. We also grounded in compassion, not blame. Drawing on insights from Dr. Gabor Mate, we observed that a child's behavior is often a response to their environment rather than evidence of a defect. So if you haven't heard that episode yet, please go check it out. It's foundational for what we're about to unpack today. So get ready. Shame didn't just come from our families. It comes from the world we live in. And that shame, it was engineered.
Growing up, about to the age of 18, I was medicated on Ritalin, Adderall, Vyvanse, Concerta, and up through it was a lot.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things, now I'm 28, so growing up, I learned that at that age, I think you're kind of taught to rely on that sort of medicine to keep yourself focused and problem solving, whether it's getting distracted or anything. So up until about the age of 18, I was kind of not necessarily forced, but kind of, hey, you need to be on this because you're having trouble in school.
Yeah.
So then once I turned 18, I basically asked my parents, I was like, hey, I don't want to be on this anymore. It was kind of messing with my head. And it
Yeah.
was messing with my eating habits because with people with ADHD and just antidepressants and stimulants and everything, what they don't realize is that it really messes with your like growth and your hunger and everything. So like sometimes I feel like someone would be like, hey, Michael, you know what? Like, you're not going to eat today, and you're going to be completely okay with that.
Yeah.
And over time, I could see myself like losing weight, whether
Yeah,
it's
that's
related to like
terrible.
medicine I was taking or just like my overall hunger. So when I turned 18, I basically just got off of it. My mom was just like, well, what are you going to do now? Like, what's your next step? College, work, and tried college, couldn't really focus. So I basically was just like, well, I'm just going to work. Did a couple like odd man jobs, and then I finally got into construction. And I fell in love with it, like just the stuff getting messed up, like the constant problem solving, and it was something that could like stimulate my brain to know that you have to basically depend on yourself to figure it out. You're not gonna be able to rely on other people to help you.
Now, here's the truth I want to explore with you today. Capitalism and culture prey on the pain of the disconnected. We've been taught to believe that our struggles are merely individual, that our burnout, emotional reactivity, sensory overwhelm, executive dysfunction, all of it is a personal failure. But what if it's not? What if the real problem, dare I say, is the system? The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are molded, our taste formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we haven't even heard of. A quote from Edward Bernays' book, Propaganda. And there's a lot to unpack there. Let's walk through how the world has built. Let's walk through how the world was built to keep us insecure and who profits from that story.
The system's broken, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that like we're taught when we're younger, and when as you get older, whether it's your belief or what like religious or just spiritual or anything, but if you see the things that happen in the world and you would think, oh well, that wouldn't happen. And I'm not trying to be political, but there's a lot of things in the world that are happening now that a lot of high up, like whether it's billionaires, whether it's politicians, government, anything, that have deep pockets, and it's happening.
Broken, no. Different, yes.
Okay.
I don't think society wants us to feel broken, but I think society wants normalcy, and how they define normalcy varies per person.
Yeah.
Those with ADHD, or at least myself, definitely feel different in the way we experience the world versus what others like neurodivergence and versus neurotypicals do.
So the man who sold us insecurity. Edward Bernays, the father of modern advertising, nephew of Freud, genius marketer. His gift? Using psychological manipulation to manufacture desire and insecurity for the masses. In the 1920s, Bernays helped tobacco companies rebrand cigarettes as torches of freedom for women, literally turning lung cancer into feminism. He didn't market products. He marketed identity. Want to feel powerful, sexy, masculine, desirable? Buy this. Consume that. Bernays' entire playbook was this: make people feel like they're not enough and then sell them the solution. Sounds eerily familiar, right? Fast forward a century, TikTok, Instagram, Amazon. Every school says you're not enough, but maybe this product will help. It's not a glitch. It's the blueprint. Not that it is all negative. Nothing ever is. There is a good side even to this propaganda. A single factory potentially capable of supplying a whole continent with its particular product can't afford to wait until the product cannot afford to wait until the public asks for its product. It must maintain constant touch through advertising and propaganda with the vast public in order to assure itself the continuous demand which alone will make its costly plant profitable. However, in order to make an informed decision, you need to know as much of the truth as possible.
The value, like capitalism in itself, can be used well, right? If it's like, I'm a person, I want to help others, let me help others, and I pretty much own this thing, and because of it I get more rich, and then after I get more rich I'm going to bring back to society.
Yeah.
But no, it's not that. It's, I'm rich, let me stay rich, let me show my rich friends that I'm more rich.
You are what you produce. Grind culture is capitalism's love language. The ADHD brain, curious, nonlinear, emotionally intense, is born to move, create, and connect. But the world says, you are what you produce. Your worth is tied to your output. Rest is laziness. Play is an indulgence. Feelings are weak and don't belong here. So we mask, we mimic, we try to keep up. Then we burn out. And when we crash, that same system sells us solutions. Energy drinks, apps, stimulants, productivity hacks, but never true healing. Never does it offer rest, because rest doesn't make anyone money, or so we think. This is what philosopher Byung-Chul Han calls the burnout society. We've internalized the oppressor. We self-exploit in the name of productivity, and we call it ambition.
Salaries. I mean, when I was young.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like, we're in the United States, we're in America, where greed, and it's becoming more and more apparent than before, but greed pretty much runs our capitalist society.
Yeah.
And because of that, we view productivity, we view progress as money and salary and growth through our, like, how much money we have, how wealthy we look, how wealthy we perceive others. But really, true happiness is within yourself.
Yeah.
Wealthiness is within yourself. And this quote sticks with me, but I'm gonna butcher this. Bob Marley said this well, and said this before. I think he was asked, like, how's wealthy, like, how does he feel himself as being wealthy? And he's like, wealth, I live life, I love life, I'm alive.
I'm really hard on myself. Like, sometimes I have to force myself to be lazy and like take a break, because I do construction. I own a small little landscape company on the side.
Awesome.
So like one thing I tell myself is that it's okay to like not kill yourself and not compare yourself to what others are doing that may or may not be in the same situation you are. Because like you said, social media and seeing what other people are doing can be like a manipulated system. So like I try to just focus on what I have control of and what I can do and what I can control to make myself feel good. So like when I first started, I just tried to just do what I could and what I could balance, and then now I just try to just force myself to relax, spend more time with my family, and just not as overload myself to where like my brain is being overstimulated.
The ADHD brain in the age of dopamine traps. Here's where it gets surgical. The ADHD brain already craves novelty, stimulation, and validation. Social media, clickbait, online shopping, hustle culture, retail therapy. They're weaponized dopamine machines designed to hack our reward system. It's not your fault you scroll too much, or binge, or numb, or overcommit. These aren't bad habits. There isn't something wrong with you. There's survival strategies in a country rigged for addiction. You're not broken. The world is simply gaslighting you. That's not a slogan. That's a diagnosis.
I think thief is the comparison of joy. So like if you compare yourself to what other people are doing, it will drive yourself insane. So sometimes you just need to just do the things that just make you happy, whether it's like posting something small or just whatever you want to do, just do it. But there's a lot of balance with that. Like a lot of the like negativity with like whether people are like doing like the OnlyFans, and I don't necessarily agree with that just because of my spiritual and religious beliefs. Progressively, it's gonna keep getting worse. Like thankfully, I grew up in a generation where I'm kind of thankful I got bullied, because I see a lot of the stuff that happens now on social media, and it's like really, really messed up. And I see a lot of people getting away with like saying certain things, and I'm just like, I couldn't imagine going to school and being told that like that's not okay, which it's wild. Like I said, it's a whole different timeline. Like from when I grew up to like people in school now being taught certain things when I was like, it's wild. It's a nightmare.
This is a very rough topic.
Yes.
The aspect of comparing myself with others is less apparent with myself as I'm more cognizant behind it.
Yeah.
I think the aspect of doom scrolling affects my mental health more than social media.
Yeah.
I think that so much content is out there that I want to see all the content, want to laugh, want to distract myself, want to get in that cycle so I can forget the same videos after 5 seconds after I pass it.
Yeah.
And then for some vague reason, someone saw this video and it comes right back up in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%. That's the whole point. It's not even capitalism, it's marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing benefits. That's exactly why marketing exists. For people who go through social media and scroll, they see all these cool stuff. For me, and not right now, it's cooking videos, and now I want to go out and cook some random stuff. Oh, what product do you use? Oh, I should get the same thing. That's pretty much what I feel like is not focused primarily on those with ADHD, but really the general public. Population, the gen pop population. Where how can the rich extort those that actually want to spend or don't have the money but want to gain happiness? I don't even know, because I personally have adapted my ways that I don't know whether the mask is on or not. And the only way that I feel it is when I'm less energetic at the end of the day. So I don't know.
Okay. Identity, masking, and manufactured shame. We start performing early. We learn what parts of ourselves are too much or not enough. And so we hide. Beneath productivity, perfection, humor, achievement, being busy, we can't sit still anymore. We don't appreciate what we already have. It's always about what we don't, or just what Susie just got. That's what psychologist Dr. Ramani calls identity over functioning. When we're praised for the mask, we lose sight of the self underneath it. And what's wild is that the very system that forced us to disconnect is also the one selling us therapy, self-help, apps, meds, supplements. Capitalism sells the disease and the cure. Come on, let's wake up to this. Take the red pill. That's why healing is rebellion. Being yourself is a revolutionary act in a world built to monetize your self-doubt.
Like masking?
Yeah.
I don't. I don't until after. Like, because I don't know how to describe it. I don't. I think like I have like post-mortem thoughts and discussions like, oh shoot, why did I say this?
Yes.
Why was I going too deep down this path? I shouldn't have done that. Or like where I could have been like, I could have done this or that. I don't think that matters, in my opinion. She points it out to me, but like,
well, it's also like it uses a lot more energy.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Like that, and we even had this conversation the other day. It's on the lines of it when I'm out like in public or when I'm out in versus at home and by myself. We have two different types of energy. We are more open and free to do like forget stuff in the house and like shoot, I have to go back upstairs, back downstairs.
Yeah.
There's like that mental energy capacity versus physical energy. Whereas someone with ADHD typically expends more physical energy because they forget things in rooms and you have to go right back to it.
Yeah.
Whereas the mental energy when you're in public, you typically have to show what society wants you to act, right? Or like you have to blend into society, and really to do that, you mask yourself to have that like, hey, I'm normal, please be my friend type of conversation. Productivity means nothing. I think what brings to the table is really your brand, your mind, and what value you bring towards others. I don't know how the best way to say that. Productivity, people view productivity as like being super busy, being like working 50, 60 hours a week, doing the stuff that people don't want to do. No, not necessarily. There's really no way to define productivity unless it's what people perceive productivity.
Yeah.
And it's just the same, and I view it similarly as how like people dress in many cases. Like people want to view themselves as more productive. People want to view themselves more wealthy. They dress wealthy. When in reality, it doesn't matter. It's who you are. So if you define your if you feel like you're being productive, then that's all that matters. Me, for instance, there are lots of spurts where I feel like I'm very productive, and others where I do not feel like I'm productive.
Yeah.
So like I can go and work one day, or like do something at home one day, and all it is it just takes a switch for that to turn off or turn on. And I never know when it's going to come up. It just comes up random.
So yeah, I remember, and like, look, I still fall for this trap too. Like it's so ingrained in who I am that I've got to just continue to work and work and work until, because if I'm not doing something, if I'm not moving forward, then I'm moving backwards. And there's a truth to that. But, I remember specifically what the day that everything changed, because I was in this mode of I would go in to work and I would want to get the most jobs done. So I'd prove my worth. I'd prove to somebody that, this non-existent person that they made the right choice in putting me in this position because I'm making this amount and I do more than these other people. So I'm better and blah, blah, blah. The story goes on. So I was and nobody ever thanked me for that. Nobody ever talked about that, or they rarely did. Nobody really ever told me that's what I needed to do, but I put it on myself that was my responsibility. And that led to so much burnout, so much stress, so much like self-doubt, that I needed to see my therapist again, to start unraveling those things. So yeah, therapy is kind of part of it, part of why. But if I'm not actually, implementing what I'm learning in my therapy, and growing from it, and it doesn't just stay there in the session. I'm actually taking it out into the world and applying it. Like none of that stuff works. True change and true growth really comes from like recognizing where you're being manipulated, where you're being, taken advantage of, and what you're telling yourself that it may or may not be true. So when I was telling myself that I needed to do these things, and thinking that it was somebody else telling me, I really needed to analyze that. And one thing that really stood out was like, we have these like stars for production in where I work. And my therapist was like saying, yeah, that's like it's a form of manipulation. It's that competition around each other, that they get free production by offering you a star. They don't have to give you anything. So you're literally competing with other people just to work harder to get them more because you want to get that star that you got like when you were in kindergarten. Like it was great in kindergarten, but why is it still having that effect? So it's like recognizing those manipulations that are going on all around you, helps you to make an informed decision moving forward. I'm not saying that capitalism is bad. Capitalism is, forms of it are needed. There's some great companies that if they use these manipulation techniques or the psychological tricks or whatever you want to call them, like that would be good for society because we would get in front of those other ones, or there would at least be competition for the ones that are getting rich and just continuing to sell us poison or a solution that doesn't really heal. So, real talk. What do we do with this? First, we don't collapse in despair. It's not the end of the world. This isn't a call to blame, it's a call to action. We claim our clarity because once you see it, it's always there.
I think there's a motive for everything. I mean, it all depends on like if you're trying to push a new magazine, if you're trying to push a new medicine, if you're trying to push a political or religious belief. There's always a motive behind why you want it, whether it's a spiritual motive or if it's a financial motive. There's always a reason for everything.
Yeah.
No matter what, like your intentions or anything. But like you said, being grounded and just recognizing the situations and just being situationally aware of everything around you, I think it's one thing that's good. So, but I don't really think they're trying to nerf us more or less. But like I said, I think everyone has a different motive for like what they're doing and like what they got going on in their life. And my thing is I just try to live by just like putting out good and trying to just make myself feel good about myself and what I have control of.
So it really doesn't matter what they're doing.
Yeah, to me, no. I try to avoid all the things that people exaggerate and all the negative toxic energy. I usually don't do that. I just avoid
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good question.
I'm trying to disconnect and get the dopamine hit.
I'm just trying to you hit the head on the nail. I'm just trying to get out of society and just in my own head.
Yeah.
That's it. I want to distract myself from everything else and just live where I'm happy, which is just solely up here.
Yeah, from the inadequacy and all those other things.
Yeah, exactly.
That capitalism is pumping into you.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Many practices you can start today. Audit your worth trackers. Ask, when do I feel most valuable? Is it when I'm producing, proving, pleasing? It should be when you're doing things to rest up, because you gotta, like, I always look at my mental health day as like, I need this day for all the other days so I can show up better, so I'm not burning out throughout the week. Second one is do a mass check. Once a day, pause and ask, am I being real or rehearsed? What am I hiding right now to feel safe? And my personal favorite is, what is the rush? Is there really a reason why I need to be going so fast? It's about enjoying life anytime. And you can enjoy life even at work, as crazy as that sounds. So reclaim The third one is reclaim joy as resistance. Schedule 15 minutes this week to do something completely unproductive. Draw, sing, sit outside, play a silly game. Just put away the phone. Watch the birds. Take your life back. This is how you build new neural pathways for safety, not just survival. And the final one is talk to one person about this episode, because naming the system is how we take power back. You got this.
Just working on like finding everything that holds you back from like reaching your true potential and just being happy and in love with your genuine self, I think, is one of the most important things that I've learned. And that's something that I stand by a lot, is just loving yourself and just taking time to just work on yourself, whether it's a couple months or a couple years, just knowing that when you step out again, you can just be your full, confident, loving self. No matter what the circumstances, whatever you experience, there's no reason to trauma or bring that stuff on another person, like whether it's your friends, family, or someone you're in a relationship with. It just, everything takes time. And one of the things I learned was just that it takes time to rebuild yourself. And I'm still working on myself, but like the confidence and just how I felt about myself was one of the most important things. So like learning that and just recognizing that, it made me reach my true potential, just to love myself again.
So what happens when we can't cope? If capitalism and disconnection shape the way we see ourselves, what happens when that shame has nowhere to go? We numb, we gamble, we binge, we isolate, we use. Addiction, says Dr. Gabor Mate, is not a choice. It's a response to pain. Next week, we're going there. We'll explore how masking trauma and a system that sells emptiness can all lead to addiction. From Adderall to alcohol to approval. What are we really trying to soothe? And more importantly, how do we begin to heal? Don't miss part 7 of this amazing ADHD and trauma journey. I'm so glad you're following along and you've made it this far. It's going to be raw, real, and incredibly necessary. So if this episode stirs something in you, don't let it sit. Download my free discovery journal. The link is in the show notes, or you can go to youradhdguy.com. It's right at the top. Use it to track where your worth got tied to your performance and where you want to take it back. Try one practice this week, just one. Even a 2-minute pause can interrupt a lifetime pattern. It's that space that you're creating for yourself that is so powerful. And come share your story in the Kindness Circle Live. Saturday nights on TikTok at ron.solo1. Make sure you follow. We hold space for what's hard. We celebrate what's true. And we don't do this alone. You are not broken. You're not behind. And you are never too much. You're exactly what this world needs. Unmasked. Till next time, take care of that nervous system. And as always, subscribe. And may the source be with you. Okay, so one last thing. What's one thing capitalism can't monetize?
Time. Actually, they probably could.
Not true.
They could come on the side.
Definitely.
They do, that's what the refrigerator is for. That's what all the other inconveniences we have.
Everything convenience.
Mental health? No, we can do that too, because if you buy more things, you can get better mental health, theoretically. I guess.
Self-actualization.
I don't know, because that's what Gen AI could potentially help with, is self-actualization, where that in itself is a dopamine hit.
That's really hard to answer.
That's a really hard thing to answer. that sense, I don't really know how to answer the question.
Yeah, I would say
Everything's
like,
towards
you know,
capitalism.
maybe peace or, you know, true happiness. They can't really monetize those things
But what
because
is true happiness?
Yeah, I think the hard part is it tries to.
Yeah.
yeah,
It hasn't successfully.
it tries to tell you what it is.
but-
Yeah. I really truly think that true happiness lies within versus
Yeah.
externally.
Hmm.
And so capitalism how we view it, because I view capitalism as like, from myself seeking external things to help myself, because it helps me to understand what others are going through as well.
Yeah,
It helps things to see other products as well.
yeah,
So, like, I don't really see that it's like capitalism versus the world. I just see it as greed versus the world, in my opinion. If that's the case.
yeah. Awesome. Well, I definitely,
Yeah, like I've gotten burnout multiple times. Like I'm in construction, like I've worked away.
Yeah, it's a
and
tough job.
It sucks. Like it really sucks. Like the one thing I try to tell myself is that to keep myself humble and everything is that I grew up in a very blue collar family. Like my grandfather, he worked in the mines in Pittsburgh, and
Wow.
he was really good at baseball, like really good. And one of his, he was in the military, so he came back from the military, still wanted to get his college degree. One of his friends went to Florida State, and this is actually why I'm a Florida State fan.
Yeah.
Called and was like, "Hey, Augie, you can come here, you can come and play for Florida State, but if you want to do this, you got to do a work study." So basically, to pay for his school, he helped build Dopamine Stadium. So
Oh, wow.
laid the brick and laid the sod. And it's the second biggest brick or man-made structure in the whole entire world besides the Great Wall of China. So my grandfather, he helped build Dopamine Stadium, and he played
That's-
baseball. And
yeah. It's a lot of
another crazy thing is my mom, since she was my grandfather's daughter, she would walk in like the legacy walks like before the football games.
Yeah.
And when I never met my grandfather, he passed away before I was born, but Bobby Bowden, the head coach for Florida State, basically told my mother about a batting record that her father had that she had no idea about.
Oh,
So
wow.
I pulled my mother aside and was like, "Hey, like,
That's cool.
I know who you are. Like your father. Like he did this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
Buster
paying
Posey
homage.
never broke it or anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm very I like that's something that I hold very highly. Like every Saturday, it's football, it's family, and it's friends, and I try to live by that. I don't think ADHD has never really been an issue for me in my workplace, just because, like I said earlier, with like the problem solving and just the overall stimulation with knowing that like, hey, like there's people watching you, like
Yeah.
this is it, like you gotta lock in, you gotta do this. And I take a lot of pride in my work, like I enjoy it. I always tell myself, like a lot of people say, oh well, this was all I had, this was the only opportunity I had. And I was just like, well, one thing that keeps me humble and just keeps me motivated is that I had many opportunities to do something else and not do this. I chose this, it didn't choose me. Like I want to do this, like this is something I'm passionate about, I'm really good at it, and
Yeah.
I just enjoy it.